Okay, here we are. This is the weekly stats for the Fife property market from the 12th of May to yesterday, the 18th of May. This is a look right across the whole of the Fife property market against all the estate agents for list on Rightmove, what all the estate agents have actually listed last week, and what they've sold in the same week as well. It gives a great example and a good idea of supply and demand in each area. And we're going to do a midweek show. Listen out for the midweek show, though. The midweek show is going to be done, and I'm going to talk about the Fife property market and how long it actually takes to sell a property in each micro-region. In other words, St Andrews, Cooper, Glenrothes, Kirkcaldy, Leavenmouth, East Neuk, and Dunfermline. Interesting details. I've actually just glanced over some of the stuff for now, and it's quite revealing how some areas are taking a month to sell, and there's one area and another area taking more than 4 to 6 months to sell on average. I wonder if you can guess. But we'll do that midweek. So I've got all the statistics. I'm going to show you on the actual screen as well, so you can see it. It's all laid bare exactly what's happening in the Fife property market right now by micro region. But let's get on with this one. This is all about what's coming to market, what's been sold with us, what's coming to market with us, and what's been sold handed keys over. Gives you an idea about supply and demand as well, about how much you should be paying over the home report value, if you should be paying anything over the home report value in any particular area for any type of property. One of the interesting things that we did yesterday, Richard and I, quickly before I jump onto that, is planting for summer. It sounds the most boring subject ever, but I tell you what, it was a great insight into how you can utilize your garden as more or less an outdoor space, and how to do that in a cost-effective way in order to deliver another usable space. So it adds significant value for a little output in terms of finances and to your return on the end of the property price itself. That's a good one to tune into. There's a podcast on there, there's an article on there, but I would definitely recommend listen to the podcast, watch the show, because the article is just a script that we'll follow, and then it gives us poetic license to then go into other areas and talk about other things which are so important to getting the highest value, or the highest number of views, or the highest number of possible viewers, or people interested in your property than ever before. The key here is to get eyeballs on your property. That's it at this point in time. It's not to sell it online. That doesn't happen very often. The key is to actually get someone to inquire, so we can capture their details, so we can retarget them, and then nurture them to the next stage, which is encourage them to get a viewing. And then the next stage after the viewing is encouraged to get an offer out of them after getting feedback from them as well. So these are all the different methods and the different methodologies they actually do. So we actually talked about this quite a lot in the Planting for Summer podcast that Richard and I did yesterday. So it's on this link as usual. Just click on it and you can drill down into the actual the podcast or the actual live broadcast as well. Okay, so what's coming onto the market, or what's actually sold, and what's the Fife property market like right now? Let's talk about that. Let's get a graph up. Okay, here we are. So last week, with all the estate agents, you can see in the areas. In Cooper area, there was 10 properties instructed with all the estate agents, 12 sold. Demand is outstripping supply. In East Neuk, 7 versus 7. St Andrews, 21 versus 6. 21 properties come onto the market, 6 actually sold in that week. St Andrews is getting an oversupply position. So what does that mean? Potentially, it could take longer to sell a property, but we're going to talk about that midweek. It doesn't help also that you've got a huge amount of new build going in there with down at the Madras area, and also around on the Bogler Road area at the top of there, and coming into St Andrews itself with David Wilson Homes. Doesn't help having all that oversupply of property at all at one point in time to property prices or property demand. Remember, there's only a finite amount of people. There's not everybody that's going to want to live in St Andrews. There's not everybody can afford to live in St Andrews. Same with East Neuk, same with Leavenmouth, same with Cooper, or anywhere around about Fife. The reality is there's only a finite amount of people, and we're going to drill down on that at our midweek show. Okay, so you can see St Andrews, quite a bit come on, actually not very many sold with all the estate agents, remember. So this is right across the board. Leavenmouth, 15 versus 14, so even Stevens for Leavenmouth, doing quite well. Dunfermline, 52 versus 65, demand outstripping supply again, Dunfermline. Glenrothes, 12 versus 21. 21 properties sold last week in Glenrothes area, KY6 and KY7 postcode area. 12 actually came to market, so Glenrothes will be doing quite well. Sneak peek at Glenrothes, it takes on average 2 months to sell a property in Glenrothes, according to the statistics. That's quite interesting, but that's overall average just across Fife itself. But there's going to be ones either side of that. Kirkcaldy 32 versus 21. So Kirkcaldy a bit oversupply. Let's see if that'll change next week, because it sometimes does, and then overall figures. But overall, look, 149 properties came to market, 146 sold. So Fife in this particular week is doing quite well, apart from some particular micro regions are not doing as good as the overall average. Okay, let's jump on and talk about what's actually been sold. Now, sold with us, what I mean is we've got something under offer. We've got an offer this week. So I tell everybody what we've got under offer this week, give you a rough indication about what the property's worth. Well, an exact indication, because it's the home report, and how long it actually it took to sell, and what type of property, and what particular area and street. If you've got a property in that area, you know somebody's got a property in that area, then that'll give them a good idea about what they would get for it and how long it would take to sell. So this will be quite interesting as we go over this. Let me do a bit of housekeeping here and just do a couple of editorial things. Okay, let's get some numbers up again and some pictures here. Always like a good picture, makes it easy. Pictures speak 1,000 words. Video does everything for you beyond pictures. Video talk-ups, by the way. If a picture speaks 1,000 words, a video probably does 1,000,000. But a video talk-up does. Silent movie, which is a video, just the music to it, just as good as the pictures. That's it, really. Okay, so let's talk about what's come up. Okay, so this is Den Walking, Buckhaven. This was a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom property, actually. Yep. Okay. 2-bedroom upper flat. It was on at offers over 55,000, and it actually went in 2 weeks. That was sold. So these are quite popular. These types of properties. They sell in 2 weeks quite easily. So if you've got a 2-bedroom flat in the Den Walk area in Buckhaven, yeah, you'll get good demand for that. Here's Barrington and Strathmiglo. So I'll let you see that one. This is Barrington Strathmiglo. It's sold in 1 week. A 5-bedroom detached house offers over 440,000, and it is away in 1 week. Gives you a good idea. There's still people out there in particular areas prepared to pay over 400,000 for property. High Street South in Crail. This took a bit longer than usual. Took 3 months. A 3-bedroom upper apartment, and it was offered over 220,000. That is now away. Victoria Road and London Links. I thought this took forever. It took 2 weeks to sell. Just shows you. In my mind, 1 day is a week is a month, but this sold in 2 weeks quite easily. So Victoria Road and London Links still very popular. This was on offers over 480,000, a 5-bedroom semi-detached house. It sold in 2 weeks. Yes, we need more property in these areas. There's still demand for these types of properties in the coastal villages, especially at 480,000. Did it break the 500,000 barrier? Well, you'd have to wait until the keys are handed over, and I'll be able to tell you if it went for more than 500,000. People mocked it when it came on, said they'll never get that price for it, and it's away in 2 weeks, over 480,000. It just shows you there's people out there if you've got the right marketing strategy. Okay, so what's coming soon? Listen out, I'll tell you what's coming soon. Okay. Banklands in Newborough, which is a 2-bedroom semi-detached house. That'll be coming soon. George Terrace in St Monans, a 4-bedroom end terrace townhouse. It's got off-street parking as well, its own parking bays, which is absolutely fantastic to have. King David Street in St Monans, a 2-bedroom first floor apartment. It does have an attic room. Promenade Leaving, a 4-bedroom detached house looking over the coast. And over to the Firth of Forth. Okay, so what's completed as well? Keys handed over. This gives you a real good idea about how demand is going right now. Cross Hills Achtermuchty, 2-bedroom ground floor flat, sold in 5 months in Achtermuchty, and it took 5 months to sell, and it was 124,000 it went for, but it still went over the home report value. managed to achieve 3% more of the home report value, which is an extra £4,000. So it just shows you, even though it takes 5 months to sell, it still goes over the home report value. That's provided you've got the right estate agent. Some estate agents, the longer it takes, their expectation is the price goes down. Well, it's not. It's just the buyer's not in the market at that particular point in time. And when that buyer appears, it's the first time they're ever seen your house, even if it's been on for 10 months. So they're expected to pay the home report value or above at that point in time, because they're not going to know anything different. They've not been sitting watching your house for 10 months because they weren't in the market at that point in time to buy one. That's how it's important, all about realignment strategy rather than actually dropping the price strategy. There's two different mindsets to that. And you have to get in a stage and understand realignment and what that really means. Okay, Taylor Street Methil, one bedroom ground floor flat, popular as ever, sold in 2 weeks for 7% over the home report value. No surprise, right next door to the train station. So you could see Taylor Street and Albert Hill going up in value over the years as the train station effect starts to kick in. 43,000 that went for. A first time buyer. Fantastic, that's who we need. Heather Coat and Glenoffice, three bedroom end terrace house, sold in 2 weeks for 12% over the home report value. It went for actually 64,762, and therefore, just to, because they're usually round numbers here, I'll just calculate that. That meant another 7,262 for the seller. So it's all about at the end of the day. It was nothing like their fees. The fees were a lot less, so they basically got us for nothing and got cash back in the exercise. Fisherman's Court in Cellardyke, four-bedroom townhouse. It took 8 months to sell. Sorry, 8 months. Yep. Fisherman's Court, Cellardyke, four-bedroom townhouse, took 8 months to sell. So what do you think happened to the price? Well, it actually went for 3% over the home report value. It went for another £10,000 than the home report, even though it took 8 months to sell. As I said before, just because it takes longer, it doesn't mean to say the price reduces or the asking price will end up reducing overall, the end up overall result. And we've had it before with Black Reside, took 12 months to sell. It went down to 595,000. We pushed it right back up to 690,000 again. Another 100,000 added on to that, even though they came in the door at 590,000. That's the strategy you could use sometimes. Okay, so that went for 310,000. White Rose Terrace in Methil, two-bedroom mid-terraced house. It sold in 5 months for 4% over the home report value. See, taking longer to sell, but they're still going for over the home report value. 3% over, 4% over, 12% over, 7% over, 3% over on all these properties I've just discussed now. And it just shows you. So this is the new owner for that one, for White Rose, is looking forward to moving to a bigger property than they currently have. That's it. So it's supply and demand. It's about who's in the particular market at that point in time. And that's what I'll talk about during the midweek show on Wednesday with Richard. We will talk about how long it takes to sell in an area on average, but you shouldn't be despondent at the fact that it'll take a bit longer than usual to sell than what your expectation is. It might be quicker. You might have the house of the century. Blacklaw's cottage at the back of Anstruther sold literally in about 5 days for offers over 650,000. And it went within a week. So it just shows you there is people out there prepared to pay the right price for a property if you've got the right marketing, and they're going to pay over the home report regardless of the time it sits on the market as a result of that. That's what a good estate agent does for you. Still gets that value added at the end of this. Okay, so tomorrow, Wealth Creation Show. Richard and I will be talking about what we're talking about, Richard. Baby steps to make a positive change. It's natural to resist change, isn't it? I do it as well. It's like, why would you want to change if it works? Don't fix it if it ain't broke, is the expression. But it doesn't have to be the case to actually have a natural resistance to change. Change is actually good for us, both in our personal and professional lives, since it makes more of us flexible, exposes us to new experiences and people, and opens up more doorways to opportunity. That's the whole point. If you feel completely uncomfortable when you're doing something, it's probably because you're learning something new for the first time. The only way anything will ever change in your life is if something new for the first time is done. If you keep doing the same things day in, day out, you'll continue to get the same result. So you need to do something new. So this is what we're talking about: how to take baby steps towards a positive change. I actually looked back some of my notes previously from 1995. I found some of my workbooks from 1995, and it actually talked about an invite list. And I had written on the invite list, invite 3 people a day. That's 90 people a month. 50% will turn up to your event that you're having. Therefore, you'll get 45 people in the door, bums on seats. And yet I was only phoning 3 people a day to get that every month. That's all it takes. So this is the baby steps to make the positive change we're talking about and how to do that. So Richard and I will talk about that tomorrow, based on my own personal experience, as I said before. Until next time, guys, have a fantastic rest of the weekend. I think there's another bank holiday Monday tomorrow. For some reason, there's another bank holiday Monday tomorrow. And unfortunately, we're not a bank. So we ain't going to be on holiday. We'll still be open as usual as an Arkwright, open all hours. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.